Hey everybody, so today I'm going to go over all the entries for the park objective activity for August 2020 that is hosted on my online free RCT2 Discord community. If you haven't joined us, please go ahead and do so. You'll find an invite to the community in the description of this video. So the basic concept, if you're not aware of the actual activity, first off, is that we're just given a preset amount of objectives. You can complete as many as you'd like, and then those points are provided per objective completed in the community that actually go towards the Discord role, or as we call them, the park positions. So let's go ahead and start really fast here now. I apologize if I say your name and I butcher it. I'm very sorry. Please let me know I said it wrong so I know next time not to do so. But first, what we're going to start with here is the Spotlight Award winner, who actually, it was Dark Raider. So let's double check all the objectives that this player did and check out his park as well. So Dark Raider called this place Jungle's Junction, and his description says, Jungle's Junction features a jam-packed attraction park in the middle of a rainforest. So out of all the objectives that were offered here, the ones that he completed was the first one that he built a custom park entrance that was at least 6x4. Now this park is pretty jam-packed with a lot. It's a very large park. There's a lot going on here, so it's going to take me a second to locate it. Let's find the entrance first. There we go. So looking at it here, you'll see that Dark Raider did design exactly what was requested, a custom park entrance built out of scenery or track texture, whatever you'd prefer. Exactly 6x4, larger, fantastic. And I think it fits the theme just excellent. So great job on that one here. The foliage around it as well, as dense as it is, I think that was more or less intentional, so I think it fits really well too. I'd say maybe just a little bit more textures on the ground might have been nice, but I'm very, very pleased with this park. So great job, Dark Raider. The next objective here was that he completed was to place a lake that was at least 10x10 with supporting foliage and atmosphere, which obviously he did that very well. So he placed a lake, it's got the atmosphere and the foliage that matches it perfectly. So great job. The next one is that he built a custom log flume ride with an excitement rating of at least 5 and a length of 2,000 feet or 609 meters, mattering on what country you're in there. Now, like I said, there's so much going on here. It's just going to take me a second to find it. There it is. So we have the log flume here, calling it Expedition Logs, which I think fits pretty well here. It's built into the side of this mountain. It has obviously it's missing a couple of realistic features, but that's not the point of this activity. It's just to have fun and play the way you want to play. Looking at it here, he did exactly what was necessary. He built the excitement rating was perfect, and the length of it's just barely enough, so good job on that. I think it also fits really well into the landscape, so good job. The next thing that he completed was that he achieved a monthly ride ticket income of at least $10,000 USD. And looking at it here, that's exactly what he did. He did it in April, actually. And then the next objective that he completed was he built a custom theme bumper card ride. So he did exactly what was requested, and he actually went above and beyond and built its own roof and everything, which is just fantastic. You'll see here, you basically turn the bumper card invisible, and then and the cars will still stay there. And then he built his own roof and siding and his own little station entrance area, which fits the theming perfectly. I really enjoy that, actually. Good job, Dark Raider. And then his final one was that he obtained a park value of at least $5,000 USD. So it was exactly what he did right there. He more than completed it. I'm going to just point out a couple things too. He did a lot of stuff in here that was not required via objective, except to reach the park value. He built a lot of cool coasters in here. These coasters that wind through everything, just fantastic job. If you guys want to download this park, just join the community. Everything's there available in a community archive, ready for you guys to look at. So, congratulations, Dark Raider, for a fact of just completing the objectives you completed. You also completed this. You also got the Spotlight Award, which gave you an additional 10 points. So good job. Okay, and then the next entry that we have here is from player a Wild Chinook. Named this park Frosted Lake. You can tell that's probably pretty obvious because of the palette that was used on the actual build. So his description of this park was founded in 1998. It was a small park, nothing interesting about it. Inverted coaster was built by B&M as a gift for the park, making it moderately successful park, and a log flume was built to attract more guests. So it's a smaller build on a very, very massive map, which isn't bad at all to say, but it's definitely a lot of wasted space, but you know, maybe that's what he's going for. So the first objective completed on here was to build a custom park entrance, at least 6x4. That's exactly what he did here, as it winds through here and enters through here. To build a visitor center, 4x4, which if I'm correct, it's either this one or this one. I can't remember which one it was, but regardless, he did build it, and I believe there's an information kiosk in there as well. And then the next thing was to place a lake, at least 10x10, sporting foliage, which obviously is completed here. Very large lake, more than completed it, with plenty of foliage. I believe there could have been more done around this, especially with the park itself, but to each his own. The next one was that he did complete the custom log flume as requested, and it did meet the required stats here, so good job on that. Now he did also complete the next one, which previous player did not do here, so it is to theme that entire log flume as Wild Western, American Wild West to be more specific. A little bit sparse here, and I know he actually didn't care if he got this point, but I looked at it here and I felt like it was at least themed enough that it should count to get that point, so I did give it to him. Typically we require just a little bit more effort, but I figured, you know, it's the first objective, first park objective, so I figured it was at least worth the points. So good job on that one here. Definitely a weird landscape with the coloring. I believe it's meant to be sand, but at least it gives it some more uniqueness. This drop too, by the way, is just intense, but like I said, you don't have to be realistic at all, play your way. And then also, it looks like that's all he completed on the actual objectives itself. He did build this coaster over here, which I think is very nice. Named it Nebula. But for a small objective park, I mean, good job. But next time, maybe just a little bit more. But regardless, play your way and enjoy it. All right, and the next player we have here, and I'm sorry if I say this wrong. I believe it's pronounced Garati. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I know that we talked about it yesterday, but not sure I'm still saying that right. The player in here obviously is more going around the actual amount of volume versus aesthetic play, which is totally fine. So the first thing is building a custom park entrance, at least 6x4, which was done right here. A lot of NCSO, which is totally fine as well. And then the next one that we have is to build a custom log flume ride with an excitement rating of 5 and the same distance of 2,000 feet or 609 meters, which is right here, built directly in the center of the park. He calls it the long flume, which is not incorrect because log flumes typically aren't large, and 2,000 feet is quite a bit, but that's kind of the whole idea behind it. Does reach it's way over the ride length actually, so fantastic job there. Now, the next objective that he did as well is to achieve a monthly ride ticket income of at least $10,000, which he easily surpassed here way long ago, as he's actually over 20,000. So good job on that one here. Then the last objective that he completed as well was to obtain a park value of at least $5,000, which looks like he way surpassed, almost to 700,000. So good job. Obviously that helps with all these shuttle loop coasters. Doesn't matter though, it's not cheating, it's your way of playing, which is fantastic. So I did also forget to say the name of this park is, I'm sorry if I say this wrong again, Cheap Color, I'm not sure, but using my attempt with one of Blazing Empire's custom scenarios. So good job on this entry. All right, and the next entry that we have here is from Lemmy, named this Wonky Land. And the description is, Wonky Land is a small theme park originally owned by a family of showmen as a place to test out their new thrilling traveling rides for the fairgrounds they attended all around the world. The park was getting really popular, so the family left the fairground business to work only on their brand new amusement park. By first of all adding Gold Rush, an in-house built log flume as a tribute to their fairground age, they added a modified shuttle loop, one of the most known traveling fair rides. Lemmy also stated here that he spent over 15 hours on this park, and he hopes you guys all really enjoy it. So let's go over the objectives that he completed. The first one being a custom entrance of at least 6x4, which is exactly what he hit here. And obviously more NCSO, once again, his style of gameplay, which is fantastic. And then a visitor center of at least 4x4, which is right here, which matches the entrance, which I think is pretty nice. And then building a lake at least 10x10 with supporting foliage, which barely meets the requirements, but it does match, and the foliage as well does actually make sense. I love the bridge over it as well, so good job on that one. And then the next one was to build a custom log flume ride, right here. and it looks like it matched everything more than enough. It's got plenty of length, and it also has plenty of excitement rating. Obviously, like I said, not realistic, but it's fine. So one other thing too I really wanted to point out here too is that on the other minigame that we do, the booth designer, it looks like here that Lemmy actually built his booth designer entry in this park, which is totally fine as well. So you do have a Wonka styled themed chocolate shop right here, if I remember correctly. Now, you don't obviously get points for that in this because that's not part of the objectives, but he got points for it on the actual minigame that he did as well. So then also, one more objective that I missed as well is that Lemmy actually did, in fact, design this to be themed around Wild West. Obviously, the name Rush, or the name Gold Rush matches it perfectly. He used these NCSO pieces here as well to kind of build a canyon fill. Doesn't look like he completely finished it. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but regardless, it still does match the requirements. So good job on that, Lemmy. All right, the next entry is by player Pseudo or Suedo Original. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Named the park Aquarium Park. There's a little bit of typos in the description here, so I'm sorry about that as well, as I know there was a language barrier as he speaks French mainly. So this park is themed around Mars conquest. Humanity set foot on a plain field, and it made it look like a more lively place to be in. But it's still savage, and aliens can hide in their mountains. Maybe, who knows? My park's name is inspired by Sonic Colors Aquarium Park, and I added one of the best songs of that game. So it looks like we did some custom music in this too, which I just realized I haven't actually checked out. But some coasters' names are in French, but they don't have any real sense aside from the lack of ideas I always have. Next stop, I'll be on the Telluric Jupiter satellite, Europe. I hope I won't accidentally kill test sub people. So obviously a little bit of a language barrier there. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But the and this is a very unique take on the entire park. It's definitely weird, but I believe he's going for like an alien vibe. So the first objective is that he built a custom park entrance at least 6x4. Now, we had a little bit of an issue accepting the entry on this, as it wasn't exactly what we asked for, as he's just using the base game entrances piled on top of each other with some scenery around it, which is fine. And then the visitor center here as well, which is kind of the same concept, but at the same time there was enough effort put into it that we decided to let it slide. So he did complete both of those objectives. And then he did build a lake with supporting foliage. Now, he built multiple lakes. Whereas the lakes are big enough, the foliage is kind of subpar, but you know what, regardless, he still did it, and the atmosphere is still there. So, and then he also built the custom log flume ride right here. Let's see, he named it, I don't know how to pronounce it, I don't know, honestly, I'm sorry, but it does match all the requirements, length and excitement rating. Definitely kind of a weird thing though, because he did theme it after Wild West, as you can see here. But it's such a weird thing to be putting in a park based off of Mars, but I guess, I mean, to each his own, so good job on that one here. It is themed after Wild West, even though a little bit sparse, it still does count, so good job on that one. And then the final one was that he did complete the park value of at least 500,000, so there is that. The next entry that we have here is by Lurker, who actually won the Spotlight Award for the booth designer entry last time. He used an existing scenario, electric fields actually, and built off of that. He did the same thing by putting his booth designer entry in his park, which is totally fine right here. So good job on that one. And then, so let's go through the objectives. So the first thing is that he built a custom park entrance at least 6x4, which is right here. Definitely more use of NCSO, which, like I said, is a totally fine way to play the game. So good job on that. And then build a visitor center at least 4x4, which I believe is right here. Yep, information. So good job on that one. And then placing a lake at least 10x10 with supporting foliage. Got one right here. Perfect size, plenty of foliage, and great atmosphere. I believe this actually comes with the scenario, but you know what? It does count. So, and then he did the log flume requirement here. Plenty large, and the excitement rating is just fine. And then obviously, Wild West themed, actually one of the best ones themed in this round, in my opinion. So good job on that one here. Definitely deserves the points allotted. I love the train going through it. That's just fantastic. And then also, he did achieve a monthly ride income of at least $10,000. So ride tickets here, $10,000. Fantastic. And then the last one that he did is he did build a custom bumper car ride. Just got to find it here really fast. Up there it is. So kind of the same thing, make it invisible, or actually I don't know if he made it invisible, I think he just built objects over it, which is fine because that still does count. So good job on that one. This entry is pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. Makes me want to play some scenarios. Alright, and the final entry is from a player named Meme Nicer. If I remember correctly, this player hasn't played Roller Coaster Tycoon for about 20 years, so coming right back into it and doing this, it's pretty impressive. Pretty large map, a lot of empty space, but maybe he meant it to be that way because this is called Through the Rockies, if I remember correctly. Let me double check that. But yep, Through the Rockies. Maybe he wanted to kind of show the whole area. Now, in my opinion, it could have used a lot more depth in the actual landscaping itself, but not a bad job at all. Foliage is definitely spammed, but still not a big deal, especially for being on for so long and just picking it up and jumping right into it. So his description is, Through the Rockies is a small park that used to be a rundown ghost town. A small family bought the land cheap and has some construction rights given by the town. It's grown into a hotspot for locals and tourists alike and boasts some spaghetti western actors to go along with its many zany rides. The curse mines, shootouts, authentic barmaids, and card games galore at Through the Rockies. So the first thing is, he didn't build an entrance, which is fine, but he did build a guest center, perfect size right there, did get the points for that, and then he did build the lake. It's not really a lake, it's more of a river, but it is large enough with supporting foliage. There's lakes here, but I believe they're a little too small, but regardless, he did it. Then he did build the log flume, and he also themed it after Wild West on this one too. A little bit sparse on it, but it does count. And then he did also build a custom themed bumper car ride, is what I'm showing here. So yeah, there we go. Themed bumper car ride, same thing, make it invisible, build your own building roofs over it. I love this little coaster as well that just jumps over this track. It's super dangerous. So regardless, I'm hoping you enjoyed this one here. It looks like it was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, anyway, so I appreciate you guys tuning in to check out this video. Remember to come join us on the next park objectives. I'm actually going to be releasing it directly after this video. I will also be showing the September park objectives requirements here in the video here just in a moment. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.